Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Tinker O'Toole with another video. Hope you enjoy the video today. Please subscribe to the channel. Any comments, thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. G'day YouTubers, Tinker O'Toole, tinkering around in the garage again. Got the Stilh USG grinder. Haven't done a video on centering the wheel. This is very important. So as the wheel reduces in wear, it gets off center, and being off center, it'll give a off center grind to the negative side. And that in turn will virtually be like you've got a bit of tilt when we refer to the 10 degrees downward tilt. So as the wheel reduces, it will give a little bit of tilt unless you correct it. Now, the way that you correct it, you can only do that on grinders that have a vise. So because in the 90-degree position here, so if we have a look at this being horizontal, this will be the furthest that the center of the shaft will extend to where the ruler is. So we'll go through the procedure on how to set that up. But before we do that, we'll just zoom in there and I'll see if I can show you a little bit better of an explanation. We'll just see if we can line this up perfect so that you can see that. That's probably lined up about perfect. So when the wheel's up in the air like that, you can see that the center of the shaft is to the left of the ruler. And as we go down, you can see that the shaft, the center of the shaft moves right in towards, and roughly about there is roughly in the middle. And as we come down, it starts to go to the other side. It's still roughly in the middle there as well. So it's in the middle for a reasonable distance. You know, there's not a huge amount. So it moves from the left, as you can see there. So you can see here, it moves to the left, comes roughly in the middle, stays in the middle for a while, moves over. You can see it over this side a little bit now. And then as we move down, it comes back into the left. So what you need to do is put it into its grinding position. I've got this little block here, and when we bring that down and it touches the block, you should be roughly in the middle. So we'll just see whether we can get that set up properly. And we have a look at that's probably as close as what you're going to get into the middle, like that. So down on the vise, it's a little bit difficult to see. We've got that set up on 0 degrees. So if the wheel reduces by about 10 millimeters in size, so this wheel is approximately 142 millimeters in diameter. If the wheel reduces in 10 millimeters in diameter, it means that what we need to do on the vise is set the vise at minus. This side's minus and this side's positive. So we would need to set that at minus 1.5 degrees or 1.5 millimeters. If the wheel reduces to 122 millimeters in diameter, we would need to reduce this to 2.5 degrees or millimeters. If it reduces, the smallest you can get the wheel is roughly about 112 millimeters, then we'll be on about 3.5 degrees. So what you've got to make sure of is that if a steel ruler usually is a little bit too thin. This is off a square, a small 6-inch square that I've got. It fits quite well. So it's just a matter of moving the vise as the wheel wears down. And if you've got 10, let's just say for argument's sake, that your wheel is worn down 10 millimeters in diameter. So it's 142 when it's brand new, and it's worn down to 132 or 130 mil. So it needs to go 1.5 degrees over to the negative side, which is this side, the left side. So if we're going to do 10 degrees downward tilt, we would add 1.5, so it would be 11.5. When we do the 10 degrees tilt on the right-hand side tooth, we will move it over to this side. So just subtract 1.5 degrees off 10, and it's going to be 8.5 degrees. And you'll find out that you'll have your 10 degrees tilt left and right evenly. So that's the main thing. If you don't adjust it correctly, it just means that you're offset grinding, offset from zero. Look, a degree is not going to do, it's not going to be a game changer. It's not going to really do much, 1 degree, because if you say 10 degrees downward tilt and you're off by a degree, it's only 10%. It's only 1 degree. You're not even going to notice it. So that's how you adjust that, and that's how you set that up. So thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if there's anything else that you want to know. The only other thing that I will say is the distance from here to here, these 2 points here, is about 200 millimeters. The longer this is, the better, because the shorter it is, the less error. Oh, sorry, the more error that you get because of the way that the as it travels up and down in its arc. You'll find out the shorter it is, the more error it gets. The longer it is, the less error. You still get the same error, but because of the length, the error is reduced, or you've got more movement. You can travel a lot more and get less error. Let's put it that way. So the shorter that you go, you'll find out with a little bit of movement, you'll get increased error for adjustment. All those little grinders, the 100 mil ones that are non-adjustable, they don't have a movable vise. Well, there's nothing you can do about that. Look, it's not a game changer to be out by a couple of degrees on your wheel off center. And it just means that if you're off center, then you've got off center grinding. Off center grinding means that you're going to have a little bit of tilt to the left, or generally to the left, because the arc will always go, as I said. If you actually have a look at it again, we'll just do that one more time for those that may be slightly a little bit confused. If we zoom in there, when we're above, so if we just sort of go back out, this is the 90, roughly the 90 degree angle here, and this is when you're pretty much in the center. So the moment that we're above the 90 degree, and we'll zoom in, you'll find out, and we'll just get this lined up again. You can see that when we're above, I'll just try and get this set up so that you can see that good. When we're above like that, you can see that the center of the spindle, or the shaft, is on the left side of the ruler. And as we start to travel down, it starts to come into the middle, stays in the middle for a while, and then starts to come back, as you can see, to the left side again. So it's always going to be from the minus side, as you can see here. That's actually quite higher, so we're offset by quite a few millimeters there, as you can see. And as we come down into the horizontal position, we're pretty central, and as we go below the horizontal position, we start to go to the negative again, and that's the end of the movement. So the grinder can't go any lower than that unless you remove the wheel. And if we remove the wheel, and we'll just do that, you'll see it go, and we'll go down to the maximum depth, and you will see that arc cause that same error again. I will take that off. And this is why it will be so important that you do that. Okay, so up here you can see that we're a couple of millimeters off center. As we come down roughly in the middle, being virtually 90 degrees in this position here, we're roughly in the middle. And as we come right down, so that's the maximum. That is the maximum that this grinder will go. And as you can see, it's quite a few millimeters, probably 3 millimeters, 2.5 to 3 millimeters to the negative side. And it's the same when we come up to the top. It's about the same, gets about the same, couple of millimeters to the negative side. And being 90 degrees, it's roughly in the middle. That's it. So the other thing that I did for reference, and you could do this on your Stilh USG grinder, is this is the cover that fits on that way. So on the inside of the cover, I wrote down at 140 millimeters. I'm off. I done a measurement. I'm off by 1/2 degree. So my 0 is not really perfect, as it's not perfect on most grinders. You'll always find some little error. 1/2 degree is quite acceptable. And I checked that about 5 or 6 times, so it's definitely off about 1/2 degree. So at 142 millimeters, which is a brand new wheel, it should be set at 0.5. When the wheel reduces to 132 millimeters in diameter, I have to offset to negative 1.5. When the wheel reduces to 122 millimeters, I've got to reduce to minus 2.5. And when the wheel comes to the end of the life, which is 112 millimeters, I reduce to minus 3.5 degrees. So minus 1 degree for every 10 millimeters of wheel reduction. So as the wheel reduces by 10 millimeters, we reduce 1 degree or 1 millimeter on the bottom scale. It will always be in negative, never positive, as I've just demonstrated that arc. So there's probably not much else I can say, except that if you do copy that down like that, you don't have to get the steel rule. You only need to do that once, and it would be just a matter of getting the ruler when the wheel, if you take your cover off, all you've got to do is get a ruler and measure approximately, roughly what your wheel is. Measure your wheel and just adjust accordingly to that little information that I've got there. So there it is there. You can get a snapshot of that or rewrite it down. I'll just hold it there for about 10 seconds. So if you write that down, all you've got to do is measure your wheel and you'll be right. All right. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up. Bye for now.